before we go into any anatomy or physiology or get into the cognitive stuff, it's important that we get a sense of arriving into our space, into our body, into what's happening within our body. So I'm going to invite you to either locate something around you like the ground or somewhere on your body that gives you a sense of landing or anchoring. So I might touch my chair, I might touch the earth, I might touch somewhere specific on my body. And I might touch multiple things like the earth and my body. And wherever you chose in this moment, bringing your attention to it. There's some quality or something about what you chose to touch that elicits a sense of landing or grounding or anchoring. We're tuning in to whatever quality that is, the vibe of that. The vibe of that grounding, anchoring. And if you're touching an object or the earth, perhaps noticing if it's okay, how your body, how you resonate with that vibe of the earth or of the object. Can any part of you begin to resonate or match that vibration, that quality of grounding, of landing? And if you're touching your body, how can the rest of your body respond to the quality of where you're touching? Staying with that, whatever it is in your body, you're trying to match what you're touching of the earth or objects around you, or letting the rest of your body respond to where you're touching on your own body. Staying with this for another minute. In other words, can the whole of you, or as much of you as possible, land, arrive? Arrive into this body and into what's present in this body, whether that's sensation or feelings, thoughts, even impulses of movement, arriving into what's present within you. Greeting whatever is present within you, like saying hello to a thought or to a sensation or feeling. Noticing if that greeting, that acknowledgement of whatever is here, allows you to arrive that much more. Or to settle more easily inside yourself. It doesn't have to, it's just a question. And from wherever you are, just noticing how much more present or landed or arrived you are into this moment or into your body. And then beginning to extend that sense of arrival or presence as you begin to attune and orient to the space around you, perhaps to the sounds of your space. In the same way you greeted the sensations or feelings or thoughts of your body, you're also greeting the sounds of the space. Greeting the temperature or the texture of the air around you. And greeting the smells. And as your eyes begin to open, you're greeting the light and the shapes and the colors of your space. If there's any movement that wants to come as another way of greeting your surroundings, or even just acknowledging what's inside you, just invite, if it feels right, any movement. Good. And you're welcome to begin to find your orientation back to the screen. You can always keep moving. The agency is yours. If you feel like you need to keep moving or doing whatever you need to do during the session during the master class. Yeah. So I want to make this as interactive as possible. Let's write into the chat box just some of the things that emerged for you. What was that like for you, that arrival? Because that's going to play into our whole discussion on stress buffering. So you might write be like a few words or sentence. No need per se for an essay. So challenging at first, and then it felt good. Felt like filling up internally, waves of presence. The softening, then distracted, then deeper understanding of self. Yeah, it took a few moments to land, and then it felt like a little break for your nervous system. Great. There was safety in there, became aware of sensations in the body that you weren't necessarily aware of before. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, varieties of texture of grounding, that it wasn't just one thing, that it actually had nuance to it, that sense of grounding. It was a moment of breath of relief, of finally, soothing qualities. Great. And, I said something in that practice that I want to kind of look at for just a moment, which is the experience of landing more in ourself, is it easeful? And what I mean by that is not the same as what we find internally is easy. Yeah. Or pleasant is another way of saying that. So can the connection to ourself be more easeful, and the ability to be here be more easeful, even when the contents of what is here is not easeful? Does that make sense? Yeah. Because that's a big piece about stress buffering. We kind of want to be here. So there's a big difference, and we'll talk about what buffering is in a minute. There's a big difference between buffering and disconnecting from something that's arising within us that might feel like a bit of a strain. Yeah. So we want to start with that clear differential. Buffering is not disconnection or disassociation from a stimulus or from a experience within us. Buffering starts with being able to attend to ourselves and what is within ourselves. Yeah. To make something more tolerable, we want to be here to not only address what's here, but to also recognize when it's more tolerable. Yeah. Because if it's more tolerable, that means we can be more in relationship to what's here and engage with it and navigate it, which is the kind of the whole point of stress buffering. Yeah, and so that we don't get overwhelmed, and that we're able to still attend to what's happening. Yeah. All right. So let's begin, because this is a session on stress buffering. And I think, as some of you who've studied with me before, I tend not to give the definition of stress until either never or later on. And the reason for that is we all come in with our own interpretation and associations of what stress is and isn't. And that's more important to me in any time I teach than it is for me to lecture at you what it is. Although we might discover additional concepts of stress later on. So I want us to write into the chat box just like a really brief definition. It could be a few words, could be a sentence of what stress is for you. Yeah.